Welcome to Tech Explorer channel. In this video, we are going to do a POC on handling Redshift timestamp data type with time zone. AWS Glue doesn't support timestamp with TZ on the fly. We'll have to do it some customization to basically get it supported via Glue or Spark data frame. For more such video, please do subscribe to our channel. Let's get started. On aws.amazon.com, let's do a sign in. Here in this particular POC, right, we will be using the same example where we basically show the capability of Shift with AWS Glue. So we'll basically copy this job and we'll do the changes on top of it. Rename it. This particular use case, we are going to show a demonstration how we can do a workaround with when you're dealing with a column with data type as timestamp with time zone. Glue or Spark on the fly doesn't support time zone with TZ for data type. We'll have to go do a workaround on that. So we will show you the workaround both with using AWS Glue and also with using the Spark. This was a dataset which I used in the POC. Here we have added an additional column, cells time, which is a timestamp based column. Now we will remove this S3, and now the destination would also be Redshift. Here what we have done is we have the data result of that query, join query, where we are dumping into S3. Now we are basically dumping into a Redshift table, and we have added one additional column to show the timestamp handling. So here we'll have to modify our existing crawler to basically add support for the result table, which we will be creating, and the result staging table. Select the connection type. Here we will basically add the result. Create a table with result which has a data type timestamp with time zone enabled. If we try to insert directly into this table using Glue, it fails. So we'll just verify the table creation is successful. Now we'll add the same into crawler. You can see user cells and the result in the sphere. Then we'll have to run the crawler for us to create the tables. It might take some time. In the meantime, we will do the relevant changes here in the job. We will name it as a result. The output of transformation will be persisted over here. Table is not yet created. we'll have to basically wait for the crawler to complete. Crawler job is completed. We can see the result table is now created. Now if you do a refresh over here, we should see the table. Here also we'll have to do the same thing. We'll have to provide the temporary result location for, and then we'll have to associate the ion role. So we'll just verify the script. That's correct. Now we'll do a run. This is supposed to fail because, as I mentioned, we cannot write into a Redshift column with timestamp data type with time zone enabled. Here we will get that await exception. So STS loader error. So when you get this kind of, when you're dealing with timestamp with TZ, I think you will get similar kind of exception. Now we'll have to basically convert to a modification into a script. So we'll have to, now once we do that, right, we cannot see the visual representation. But I think we don't have any option here. So we are going to do some changes on top of this. So we added the CQL function. So now we will be basically creating a staging table. Here we'll do it without time zone. So here what we are trying to do is we are creating an intermediate staging table, which we will use for persistence, and then we will basically copy over the dataset from staging into a result table. So this is a kind of a workaround if you want to persist something into a table with time zone. Now we'll edit the crawler. So we already added the result. Now we'll add result staging. Now we are done with the crawler setup too. here we will specify the connection option where we'll connect to database dev. DB table would be the public. The table name for us is result staging, so we'll change it to result staging. So here we will add a pre-query and post-query. What it does is that, like, whenever you are executing any query, right, if you want any query to be executed before that execution, you put it under pre-query. If you want anything to be get executed after the main query is being executed, you put it under post query. So in the pre-query, what we are doing it, we are truncating the result staging table so that with every run, we have a clean staging table. And once we have cleaned that staging table, we'll populate the data set. And once that data set is populated, then in the post query, we'll basically truncate the result table to make sure there is nothing in the result table. And whatever data we have it from the result staging table would be inserted into the result table, and then at the then at the end, I think if you want to truncate it, you have option to truncate the staging table, or like if you want to leave it. So right now, then we'll have to we added the pre-query and post query. Now this is succeeded. The only caveat with this particular approach is we have already created the staging table beforehand. If you don't want that to be created, then you'll have to insert that create statement, which looks a bit tedious. So we'll basically again shortly look at the approach 2, where even if you don't have to create the staging table beforehand, we'll create it on the fly and we'll basically drop it on the fly, and whatever query output will be only persisted into a result table. We forgot to add the semicolon, so we'll add that. Now we can see the result persisted in both the table. So this is the option which you're talking about, right? Where we are using the Spark. So you can directly write into a Redshift table using Spark also. So here you will have to provide the URL, JDBC URL, username, password, the table name, the time directory, and there is an option like forward Spark 3 credential, S3 credential true. And there are different modes which are available, like there is append mode, there is override mode, there is ignore mode. We'll share the description regarding the different Spark append mode into the description section for you guys to check it out further. So here we'll specify the JDBC URL. The username is the username which we have set up at the time of Redshift cluster setup. here also we'll specify the staging table. So we'll comment the above section. So now we have created a code for writing into staging table. We'll do some additional changes on top of it. So what we are going to do is the code, the block which are written below for the Spark has a capability of creating the table if not exist. So we wanted to basically insert the data into a staging table and also then copy the data from staging table into the main table. So for doing that, right, we'll again have to use the glue because it has a pre-query and post-query option, and those are pretty simple when you want to basically do that kind of a data copy process. So what we'll do, we will create the table dynamically, the staging table. If you look at it, we have set the limit as 0. That means that we will not insert any data from the data frames. We'll just create the table, and then we will use the glue dynamic writer, where we will basically the data frame result, the query result which we have got, then we will write it to the staging table. The above block help us to create the table, and the below block which you have written will help us to basically persist the data set. Here we don't have currently the staging table, and this has some data, so we'll just delete that. Okay, so yeah, so see here we are basically copying the data. Now we will do a run. This might take some time. Yeah, this is succeeded. Now let's verify the result. So we should see some data here. Yeah, it is coming. That means our code is working fine, and the staging table does not exist. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more such videos.